Me personally, I like the grime and the filth that is involved in these abandoned areas. I really think that like when you're able to make an abandoned area like, you know, an abandoned industrial area that's all filthy and everything, when you're able to make that look good and pleasing to view, I think you can probably make anything look good. Just by the fact that, I mean, these things, I mean, the textures and stuff like that inside there, I mean, when you don't add the light and you just see it normally, I mean, it looks filthy, it looks disgusting. But I mean, when you start adding light and you start adding different lighting techniques, I mean, it starts bringing out the inner beauty of what an abandoned structure really is. I mean, that's really what I find really attractive about abandoned structures.
There are a lot of places that, I mean, everywhere you look, there's places that are abandoned. And you know, for just anybody, you'd want to jump into any building you find, but there's certain buildings that you look for, and the ones that I personally like are the ones with vast spaces, but have a unique twist with in terms of architecture. I like the old style, old brick, lots of texture, maybe a lot of old painted signs. Peeling paint is very nice aesthetically. And you know, you're looking for something that's going to be able to tell a tale, so you're looking for remnants of what the building once was. Maybe it's desks or old papers or old supplies, or maybe it's old equipment. But these are the things that I like to look for when I'm going into a place, and to help tell the story.
I believe it's important to like document, you know, a certain, you know, especially these areas, especially in the Midwest. I mean, the Midwest was built on industry and, you know, different industrial complexes and stuff like that. I mean, steel, I mean, it used to be huge throughout the Midwest. I mean, now you just see all these steel, you know, factories and, you know, manufacturing factories just going under. And I mean, some of these people, I mean, it changes how these people live, it changes their livelihood. And I mean, I think that's really the essence of why I do it. It brings light to stuff, you know, certain aspects of you know, how society becomes affected by, you know, the deterioration of certain industries and certain, you know, jobs that people had, you know.
The reason for doing this is basically to put into context the story, the way things have happened, where things were, where things are, where things may possibly be going. And you look out and you see vacant lots, and you see empty houses, and you realize that with the fall of these industries came the fall of these communities too. And you know, the business may be gone, but the people still remain, and they're kind of forgotten. And this is kind of our way of bringing attention back to those areas and kind of showing the sad state of affairs at times, and how some things can be so easily overlooked, and when they really shouldn't be. And you know, I wish more people would pay attention, and this is kind of my way of just throwing it in their face and saying, you're gonna have to look now.
Across the water. If what they say is true, about how you are what you do, what does that mean in this day and age? When layoffs are common and the game has changed, how does one keep afloat in such choppy waters? The lack of work can take its toll on a person, and the loss of a job can be life-altering. We all know, either through the media or from our contemporaries, that the job market is rough, and our country has seen better days. After the loss of a job, one might find themselves facing a myriad of questions. Now what? What do I do now? How will I pay my bills? How will I support my family? Where can I find work? This state of limbo can be rife with peril or possibility. But it is crucial that one makes the most of the meantime.
And I would check in with candidates, potential candidates, every few weeks or so to see how they were doing. And it just seemed to be the same story. I'd ask them, is anything going on? Do they have anything potential, anything in the works? And they'd always, give me the same answer. No, we don't have anything going on. We're still looking. Day by day, I would just figure, well, I could feel that I was going to be one of these people on the other end of the line looking for something, and coming back with the same answer, and I've got nothing going on. So a few months of that, and I was laid off in June of 2009, and I had about a month of downtime after that. I was looking to see what else was out there as far as recruiting opportunities and other opportunities in the HR field, and there was hardly anything to even apply to. Didn't even have any potential interviews lined up, very similar to the people that I'd been in touch with over the phone. I think that's one of the best things that's come out of my experience dealing with the recession. Through these experiences, I've come to learn that it's beyond anything. Beyond status, beyond money, beyond where you live. The most important thing is to have friends and family to be there for you as you go through tough times like this, and to also be there for others as they may be going through similar things. I consider myself extremely blessed that I have friends, have family to be there for me. I know I'm not sure where I would be without them.
When they're in this sort of position, how would they cope mentally, you think? What do you think they should do?
Oh, there's different avenues. Once it gets to a certain point, I say friends and family are always a good coping tool. What I used to tell people when I did orientations, make sure you do something for yourself. Although full-time job search is a full-time job until you find something, still make sure you have that stress relieving time. Make sure you have that me time, because if you don't have that, you're going to get even more frustrated. Anxiety's going to get worse. Depression's going to get worse.
Right.
So
it become kind of a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and that's one way you kind of help to deal with it. Down the road, you may need some things like counseling. Okay. Now we have employment counselors who can counsel them, which is a free service, on what they need to do professionally. But they may need some other psychological counseling to help deal with it. I've had people who've not only, because of the financial situation they're in, have become depressed, but we also have some who've contemplated suicide because they didn't know what was next. So it can affect people on different levels as to how they react to it psychologically.
And in the air a decree, life is a gamble, take a chance. You pick a number and see what you get. Anything can happen in this sweepstakes. Around the corner may be prosperity or the worst depression yet. Who knows? Nobody. You pick a number, you draw a card, you shoot the balls. In the pool rooms, the young hear, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If the women don't get you, then the whiskey must. And in the churches, we walk by faith and not by sight. Often among themselves in their sessions of candor, the young saying, everything's a racket, only the gyp artists get by. And over and beyond the latest crime or comedy, always that relentless meal ticket saying, don't lose me, hold your job, glue your mind on that job. Or when your last nickel is gone, you live on your folks or sign for a relief. And the terror of these unknowns is a circle of black ghosts, holding men and women in toil and danger, and sometimes shame. Beyond the dreams of their blossom days, the days before they set out on their own. What is this occupational disease we hear about? It's a sickness that breaks your health on account of the work you're in. That's all. Another kind of work and you'd have been as good as any of them. You'd have been your old self. And what is this hazardous occupation? Why, that's where you're liable to break your neck or get smashed on the job so you're no good on that job anymore. And that's why you can't get any regular life insurance so long as you're on that job. These are heroes, then, among the plain people. Heroes, did you say? And why not? They give all they've got and ask no questions and take what comes. And what more do you want? On the street, you can see them anytime. Some with jobs, some nothing doing. Here a down and out, and there a game fighter who will die fighting.
And the purpose, the mission of this great conference is to educate the business community, the investors, and the future workforce to the changes which are taking place around the world and here in this country in the economy.
What we do is we take a look at global energy and sustainability all around the world, and primarily in building efficiency strategies. So anything to make your building more efficient. We're seeing a lot of companies, doing anything from like solar panels on your roofs to create more sustainable energy in your building, to what we're doing, which is the whole total building retrofits and the automation controls and all of the different parts and pieces to make your buildings run more efficiently.
But we have a large number of outstanding speakers from the city, the region, across the state and around the country, and even from around the world.